ions out, the vasorector will pick them up and concentrate those ions down deep in the renal medulla. Right? Instead of letting them just diffuse everywhere, it brings them back down. And then as the blood comes back up next to the descending limb, we've got water coming out of the descending limb. That gets picked up by the vasorector to get that water out of there. Otherwise, the water would dilute the renal medulla.
And that's why it's a multiplier, is because you have those two working against
Partially.
each other.
Yeah, partially. Really, technically, the multiplier part is because your end result is much greater than what you started with, right? So it's just a basic countercurrent exchange system. You've got something coming in at one end and something coming in from the other end, and you can get this thing coming in to come out like the other one. But in this case, we've got something totally different coming out of it, even greater. It has a big multiplying effect as opposed to just a straight exchange. I don't know if that cleared up.
But it ends up at the same amount, 300.
When it goes back up to the cortex. In fact, the filtrate is at about 100 milliosmolar, so it's even more dilute than what it started at.
After the filtration.
Well, filtration, remember, only occurred at the glomerulus, so way back. But after it comes out of the loop of Henle, the fluid entering the distal convoluted tubule, that's called filtrate. Maybe that's what I'm confused. That filtrate is at about 100 milliosmolar, so it's dilute fluid. And remember, if you're trying to get rid of extra water, then you just let that stuff pour right on out. You don't reabsorb water in the collecting duct because it's more dilute than your body.
So the vasorector at the ascending loop then picks up ions? Or
Yes.
or picks up ions. And then at the descending it picks up water?
Yep.
Okay, so it just picks up stuff.
Picks up whatever's around it.
Okay, so it doesn't dump anything.
Don't think of it as dumping anything. You do have stuff going back and forth.
Yeah.
But
We did review the angiotensinogen and the aldosterone at the renin at the where it's signaling at the JG junction complex thing. I can't remember. Where it has the afferent arterioles coming in, and then the efferent coming out, and then there's it sits right on top of that junction, and that's where it's going to be producing that, the renin. And then there's the different stimuli for producing the renin. And then the renin makes the
renin's converting angiotensin into angiotensin 1, it gets converted to angiotensin 2,
to aldosterone.
and that can stimulate aldosterone and ADH. Right? And all of that really stems back to a drop in blood pressure. This is all a response to a drop in blood pressure or decrease in blood volume, which are all so tightly related that it's hard to separate those two systems. Right?
Right.
So you've got a drop in blood pressure, renin's released. It has that chain of reactions. You've got an increase in ADH and an increase in aldosterone. Right? So you're going to reabsorb more sodium. Right? And the saltier you are, the more water you can hold on to. Right? You can absorb your gut and hold on to, which brings up your blood pressure. Right? Countering that original stimulus. Plus, release of ADH is going to allow you to reabsorb more water, which helps contribute as well. More blood volume, your blood pressure goes up.
Aldosterone, though, is released by what? The cortex?
Aldosterone, no. I don't remember the aldosterone. Adrenal cortex, yeah, the adrenal gland.
Okay.
That's right. Which is sitting on top of the kidney. It's not really the kidney itself, it's really on top of it.
So the renin stimulates the release of aldosterone.
It leads to the stimulus of release of it, yeah. It's not renin itself that's causing it, but because remember, renin is going to make more angiotensin 1 available that gets converted into angiotensin 2, and then that is going to stimulate the release of aldosterone. So there's sort of that cascade of events. What's that?
Enogen?
Enogen?
Yeah. Scribbled over the side. Enogen release is something else related to the aldosterone system.
Oh, angiotensinogen. So inogen, that was the suffix that you see in a number of places like pepsinogen, carcinogen. That was just bringing that up. So if you see that, that helps you. Okay, that's going to be a precursor to something. That's why I brought that up. Yeah. It sounded like a biomedical research company. Inogen. Amgen, I guess that's what I was thinking. Isn't that another research company? Sorry, so they just had the big cycling race. Did you watch that?
Yeah. You can watch it live while it's going on.
That stuff stuck in traffic because of that.
Yeah.
Across the highway.
They're a little way south now.
So where did it start?
Started in Santa Rosa, the Loop, and San Francisco, Santa Cruz. Yesterday they went San Jose to Livermore. And
Wow, that's all over the place.
Yeah. That finishes out in LA.
Wow.
Won't be Beverly Hills.
Finish in style.
Let's stop.
That's great too.
Yeah. Little shopping spree. Fireworks.
On your bike. That's good stuff.
So, the atrial natriuretic peptide, okay, it's a peptide, so it's released from where?
From the atrium. It was actually coming through the wall of the atrium. That's where the part of the name comes from.
So that buffer that you have up there, that one, all they said, you were talking about how it affects the lungs and everything, and that they're all related. So with the kidneys, we talked about the lungs, it shifts the balance, with more CO2 or less CO2, to more acid base, so what about kidneys now?
Well, this equation occurs in your blood all the time, and it doesn't care where the CO2 comes from or where the hydrogen ions or any of that. Just whatever's in the blood is going to work with that and balance that. So whether your lungs are changing the concentrations of these items or your kidneys are, it'll still go back and forth the same. So does that address your question, or do you have something else?
I was just trying to figure out how to get the bicarbonate into kidneys.
So all this stuff is in your kidneys, it gets filtered through. Your kidneys are going to act more on this end of the equation by changing the hydrogen ions and the bicarbonate ions that get excreted versus reabsorbed, where your lungs are going to work more on the CO2 end. But either way, you're changing concentrations and it swings back and forth.
That's,
Okay.
it's
hydrogenized and bicarbonate ions.
But more hydrogen than bicarbonate, and the lungs would get more bicarbonate.
Well, the lungs don't get rid of bicarbonate ions, right? They can't exhale bicarbonate ions, they only exhale carbon dioxide. Does that make sense? Because bicarbonate ions are not going to form a gas in your lungs. That's what you can get rid of in your lungs is gases. CO2 can't form gas. You gotta be ready for another
Of
one.
course, tight junctions is one of the two ways to regulate absorption of nutrients from the small intestine.
Yeah, it helps limit the
Limit
passage of things across across the tissue, and that's present lining the small intestine, so that you can have more control over what gets absorbed and what doesn't.
And is there a second one? Or is it primarily?
Cell membrane, I guess.
Okay.
Think of it that way. All right, so those tight junctions keep things from going between cells, and now the only way to get across and into your body is to go across the cell membrane, and that's where really the active regulation would occur. Does that make sense?
So what can I get across a tight junction?
Most things cannot go across tight junctions. Right? I mean, there are things that can rip cells apart and go through, but
But other than that happens.
yeah, nothing gets done.
So we were talking about the ovarian cycle.
We were.
All right, so, do you want the number of days, I mean, like, okay, if, follicle stimulating hormone is being released during the early follicular stage, that would be, up to day 13 or something, yeah?
No, think of it as more the first quarter, but don't worry about putting specific days to it.
And then the luteinizing hormone, that's when you had ovulation and it's being released, right? And then you have, I mean, during early follicular stage, it's estrogen that's being released, where in the luteal phase, it's progesterone
Right.
to keep the line of the uterus
Exact, yeah.
intact. What else did we do?
Oh, that's it. I mean, we had 3 lectures on it, right? That question's a little open-ended.
But those had hormones during that particular stage.
Yeah, the ones that I brought up were follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, estrogen, progesterone. I think that's all I brought up.
And then the parturition, the various hormones that are being released.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm. Are you waiting for me to respond? Are you gonna ask another question? I'm not sure what's going on
no,
here.
that's, I guess.
Okay. All right.
So in the ovarian cycle, or during the meiosis, you'll have produce the 4, you'll have, if fertilization occurs, you'll have ovum and 3 polar bodies.
But 1 or 3 polar bodies. I guess you could say 1 and 2 or 3.
But if there's no fertilization, then they're just all polar.
No, so you get the first
polar-
meiotic division to form a secondary oocyte